teeshirt.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
Hi, this is
Hi.
Anne Marie, and hi, and this is Joseph with his coffee, and
Yes.
yeah, and Jan is waiting for a reading, and I haven't
Oh,
checked,
cool.
but hopefully, those that want to have a reading, please go to either Achieve Radio and you can call in for a reading. We give double readings, and it's 602 666 6027. 602 666 6027 for a reading, or you can go to the video and click on the side and text your question. Now, Joseph, did you bring a t-shirt?
No, I didn't. I don't. Why? You didn't tell me to bring one.
Okay, I did, but
You
I
did?
was
When?
hoping I
When
did.
did you
Here,
tell me that?
we were going to make facial masks out of old
Well, I thought you
t-shirts.
said you were going to make a facial mask. I don't have a workspace to do that here.
Okay, I
This
don't
setup
either.
doesn't allow for that. I thought you
Yeah.
had some wonderful mobility and all that stuff that you were going to do this whole demo for us.
Well, here's the thing. I don't even know that I can get the full T-shirt into here. But what I'm doing,
Oh,
guys, I want you to go to the New York Times, how to make a mask. And it is so easy. We're getting to the point where, the country may be going into the button of making it go back into circulation.
uh-huh.
And I think it's never more important for everybody to probably wear masks, because with planes going, people that are contagious are going to be flying all over the place into every
Oh, yeah.
state. And that means that no one that did have quarantine is going to be safe anymore, because those that are from other states that were not
Yeah.
obeying, unless the plane starts to take temperatures, I really don't foresee that we're going to be. It's not like you're Illinois or New York or Iowa or whatever. It's going to be a free for all. And,
Right. Right. Well,
so
I was thinking it might be I saw something that somebody made. It looked like a welder's helmet, a welder's
mhm,
visor. And I
yeah.
thought that might be the trend. I mean, this might be the whole way of wearing hats. It will be to have something that would cover your face and still allow for visibility. You know what I mean? Because it's important for us to see faces. That's the whole thing about wearing a mask, is that you can't tell. You just can't. You can't. There's so little information that you get when all you see is a pair of eyes, and that's it. Um,
They've been doing it in the Middle East forever, and
yes,
and
yes, and that
the
is. It's not something I would adapt well to having
yeah,
covered
I get it.
faces like that. Yeah.
Well, the one thing though is that right now, until what is, like, we went to Walmart, and in front of Walmart they had a guard, and the guard had a mask on,
Right.
and and they had a clipboard, and they were,
Mhm.
I mean, we live in a place of high Latino, you know, uh, Sudanese and Asian
Mhm.
families, because there's a lot of packing houses around, which
Right.
I used to work in one too. And um, the thing is, families come, huge families, 7 or 8 people in a family, and they
Yeah.
all walk around together in
Hmm.
these Walmart stores. And now it's only allowed to have 1 or 2 family members at the most.
Yeah.
They they have opened the door, one door. You go through a special passageway, and you are then let in the door. They clip how many there are of you, which is 1 or 2.
Hmm.
And what I noticed, everybody was wearing masks, gloves. I'm not everybody, I'm
Oh yeah.
exaggerating there. But it
Yeah.
was to the point where I felt like I was the dangerous one because I wasn't wearing a mask. It was like I
Yeah.
was being the inconsiderate one. And I hated feeling like I
Well,
was
we
being
we go out.
inconsiderate.
We wear masks when we go out
Do you?
to anywhere. When we leave our own property, we wear a
Yeah,
mask. And when well, for one thing, I live with somebody with compromised health, and one of my friends here,
right,
one of my roommates,
right.
cannot have any respiratory illness.
And
So
truly, he
we
shouldn't be out at
cannot
all.
bring it in. So actually, I don't go out very often at all since I do a lot of cooking here in this household.
Mm,
So I
mm,
don't really go out much, just a few times. But you have to do the whole thing, and we do have masks because one of my friends did a lot of woodwork, and you have to wear a mask. So we had
mhm,
a bunch of those, and what we do is we wear them when we go out to the store. And then we
mm.
take those things off. We leave them in the car for a week, and then
Okay.
we reuse them again the following time because it had a lot of time to sit, in the car for a long time. They were not
Right.
brought back into the house. They're not thrown away because they're the kind of masks that you use, like if you're sawing wood or stuff, those
Uh-huh.
particle things, and
Right.
they're made out of that hard paper. It's like a hard fabric of sorts. It's
Right.
like but those, we're not throwing those away. I mean, we wear them when we go out, and then we let them sit for a long time before they're used again. And the thing is, you don't go out that much. You try to restrain that. Like instead of shopping every week, make it every 2 weeks. And in the
Right.
meantime, you don't go out at all,
Mhm,
and you don't
mhm,
expose yourself. If you have
mhm.
the luxury of self-isolating, like a lot, it's just not everyone can do that. And
Right.
yes, there's people that have to go out and work in stores. Some
And
restaurants are
and the
still
problem with
open.
that, like,
Some give
yeah.
curbside service, which is great because we're able to still
Mhm.
pay them and give them money, which is
Right.
wonderful. But the thing is, it is a time you have to be careful, and you have to also try to make your supplies last, and you have to know how to make masks. And
Well, and so
you
that was
should
what
go
I
out
was
and
going
cover.
to.
Well, even using a scarf when you go out to
You're
cover your.
right. You are absolutely right. I was thinking about all these
Yeah,
beautiful scarves I have. I mean,
right.
sure, you
Well,
could just
you
pull
could,
up your
maybe
scarf
put a
over your
liner inside,
face.
put a heavier liner in there maybe, and just, make sure that the thing is you
Right.
have to always remember it because this is a very serious thing.
I
The
I know.
mask, having the mask and the discomfort of it on your face and those things, the rubber bands and stuff, that's a
Yes.
reminder. That's a reminder not to forget to put that, because what all you have to do is forget that thing on top of your head, just and then you're exposed, and then it's all it's just so we and where I live, we don't take those chances, even though we are fairly rural and we don't come into contact with a whole lot of people. But when we do go out into town to do shopping, we don't want to be contagious. We don't want to spread it if we have it, and we don't want to get it if we don't have it because it can be fatal for a few of us. And that's what you
Well,
have to do. You have to be careful. And yeah, so if you can make masks at home, use like what you said, use like jersey fabric, like t-shirt
well, a good,
fabric.
the best fabric to use is pure 100% cotton.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it tends to
Okay.
be more. But now, guys, I don't have any way of being able to show you. Um, Here is a T-shirt. Okay, this is my husband's. Cruddy old, uh, too little for him now. And if you'll notice where the arm is, see that where the arm is, and I drew a line.
Okay, hold it up. Yeah. Okay.
So you're going to make sure that when you draw that line on your arm of your T-shirt, see where the line is down a ways, so it shows. So part of it is on top. There's when you cut on the line, you want this part right here, right here.
So you want the sleeve, do you?
You want the sleeve because you're going to make sure that this top part. Oh gosh.
So you pull. So
Uh,
after you cut off the sleeve, you use the sleeve around your. It's around your face. You pull out over your
see where the
face.
horizontal line is? See where the
Yeah, I see.
horizontal line is?
Oh
That's going to be your
yeah.
strap. That's going to be your strap. So this is
Oh, I
full. So
see.
when you cut it, the
Oh.
horizontal part on the top, you're going to go on that oval, cut on that line, leaving a space of about an inch on top, and you're going to cut where that blue line is
Mhm.
past the arm seam because you don't want a big old honking bunch of fabric stuffed in front of your face. So, well, depending on how little you are, my husband, this is probably a fairly large shirt, and you're going to do the same thing on the bottom of the sleeve. You're going to cut on that, and it's like folding paper in half. When you
Mhm.
do that, um, okay, so here's the thing. When golly, I can't. I When you cut, you're going to also draw a line underneath the neck of it, cut across. That's going to be your mask part. The
Mhm.
sleeve part is going to be your strap to go around your head. So you're going to go to the other arm. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to cut on that top part, where that, right there, right here. And so then you're going to cut on the bottom. You're going to make your line. This is just crazy. Underneath the sleeve part. Golly. So, anyway,
Well, you
guys,
know
I'm
what
going
it
to
is
put.
that you need like so like a Martha Stewart setup with the table and like a work
I know
counter in
it.
front of
I
you.
know it. I need to have yeah. So I've got, oh my gosh, a keen chat. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I forgot to log out. Okay, so
Uh-oh.
oh, just a minute.
But
I
that's
have to
really,
log out.
but that's really clever though. And actually, if you hold it up and back it up a little, maybe if you photographed it and posted it on your, so they could see all the cut lines and arrows.
Yeah, so
That's
what it
really
is,
clever. Yeah.
by the
Because
when
I
you
was
cut it
just
out,
thinking of
because
taking like doing like bandana stuff, like tying or
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't
Here
know.
I
It's,
am.
it's just really weird. It's just that in this age, when we have the facial recognition software being such a big deal, and everyone
And now
wanting
we
to see
can't
your
see the
face
face.
in recent years, and now we're going to be like the Middle East, where it becomes part of our fashion and necessity to walk around with our faces covered and wearing,
Or we can
but I
all play
like the idea
cowboys
of
and
like a window, like a welder's helmet going down, and then maybe down here have the fabric so that air and germs don't come underneath the helmet. But I kind of like the idea of the welder's hat.
or
Um,
how about this? Some of us that really date back to some of the old underground poetry days and stuff had turtlenecks.
yes, yes. Well,
So
actually,
why
I
could
like turtlenecks. I still have a few.
yeah?
And
So
what I
you
tend to do, which drives people crazy, a lot of times in my house in the winter time, my nose is always freezing. And sometimes if I'm watching
pull it
TV
up.
and I think no one's looking at me, I pull this turtleneck up over my face like I'm Bazooka
Right.
Joe.
Right. So so maybe turtlenecks will come back in style, and people
Yes.
will be, you are now ergonomically correct for pandemic, and
Yeah.
you can just pull your turtleneck up and voila, you have a
The day I wake
mask.
up and find out everybody dressing like me, it's because of a pandemic.
But guys, I'm
Oh
really
dear.
sorry about the T-shirt. Anyway, I wish I
Yeah.
could show you this in a more but anyway, so I'm going to go real quick just so you can see again. You can find this pattern on New York Times. Make your own face mask, and I'll put it on the blog for our show. My husband's counting on me making this, by the way, for work tomorrow. So
Great.
I, so I am, plus I went into Etsy. Etsy has a lot of young teenage girls that are making these wonderful masks that are stylish. Because a lot of people, it isn't the fact that they're going to be working in a hospital. They just want to
Right.
go to work in their and not be sharing spit and fluids. And so that's guys, I can't tell you enough. When they turn the light on and the country is back to running, it is
Hmm.
going to be really important to have a face mask to me because that's when I
Yeah.
feel things are just going to be a free for all.
Well, a lot of our socializing is going to change, and our activities are going to change.
Really?
Um,
I know
yeah.
it is. So,
The
okay,
technology
we
is going to become more important, it seems like, for get-togethers. It seems like we'll have more Skype get-togethers. I'm sure Skype
oh
has been
no,
very busy
because
lately. I hadn't even thought about them, but I'm sure that their business is booming because people can't
or
visit each other.
FaceTime.
So the
FaceTime. A lot of
FaceTime.
for a lot of people Skype is outdated and FaceTime is the thing. But
Okay, well now see, I do have FaceTime on my Mac, and I've never used it
I
because
know
I have
everybody's using
Skype.
FaceTime now.
So I don't know how that would work out with the show if I used FaceTime. If I guess it would work.
Well, I think for the show we have to use our computers because the
Right.
same for CNN and places like that, you need a wider
Well,
screen.
no, if
The,
I'm using FaceTime, well, that's true because it's not like I'm dialing in to Skype. Um, I'm
well, the
signing
other thing,
into it. Yeah. So
the other
it's
thing
their
is that,
software that would be the concern. Yeah.
and the other thing is
Compatibility.
FaceTime, you're getting kind of a weird image as far as I'm concerned because you're either
Hmm.
going to be down here and you're going to get a lot of double chin, or you're going to be, at Skype, you can pretty much set the camera in the most flattering position. Whereas if you're in FaceTime, unless you've got a stand for your phone,
Yeah.
you're going to be stuck. Because I've read for people on FaceTime, and they look really funny. They look
Well,
very.
I use the built-in camera that's on my monitor. It's at the top
Mhm,
of my monitor,
mhm,
so that's what I do.
mhm.
And so everything I do is right in front of the camera right here on my desk. Um,
Mhm.
so that's how. So actually, I suppose the quality is okay. The camera's okay. There's things I can do with it that's kind of fun, but like I said, I'm limited. I have to be right in front of it. It's good for talking heads. If you're a
Right,
talking head, it's good,
right.
but it's
To
not
your
good if you
mom or
want to
your
go.
dad or
Yeah,
your brothers or sisters,
right,
it's
right.
fine. But for Skype,
It's
if
it's
I'm
it's
doing
fine
a
like for a picture phone. When we were
Mhm.
kids, remember with the Jetsons and stuff, everybody had picture phones. Remember that? And Dick Tracy, they had the watch phone, the TV on the watch with the big antenna.
Hey, I can even remember with my little sister when we were little taking toilet paper rolls and playing phone, and we'd have
Oh
a
yeah.
cord between the
You could
two
do that with
toilet paper,
cans,
and then hold these
tin cans
cans
and a
and hold them.
string, and it
You
works. It
That
really
was back
does
when,
work.
but you know what? That was back when kids actually did things
You're
with their
right.
own
When we did
imagination.
things.
Now everything is screen. You know, I had to laugh
Well, we
the
had
other
to do
day. I
things in real time. When we were kids, we lived in real time. We didn't live
right,
digitally. We were in the moment, and
right.
we were there physically in person doing all the things that we played games. We ran around and we made up games. We made up stories.
Right.
And actually, even if you played with dolls, that's how a lot of times you get ideas for stories.
My gosh,
Sometimes
anymore
you
when
look
you look
back
at
and you
dolls.
realize, why does the story seem familiar? It's like, wait a minute, wasn't this a game that we made up? So
Well, you know what's
there's
so
just all
sad
sorts of.
about dolls? What's so sad about dolls is that if you're a fan of paranormal TV, they have made dolls to be out some kind of demonic entity for spirits
Oh,
to go into. And I really think that that's sad because there's some beautiful antique dolls out there that have nothing to do with
I know that there
spirits or
are
demons.
some dolls. Some dolls seem to be the center of hauntings, and they have some famous ones that are behind glass. But I think that's like with all objects. I think that there's some other thing going on. I don't really think, I can't imagine any entity wanting to haunt an object. But I do think maybe
Well, wait,
certain
wait, 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 because
entities
when I get
like to play with those objects. Maybe that's what's really going on. Maybe the object itself isn't haunted, but a haunting is playing with that particular object, or it's taken a fancy to it. Because dolls don't, there seems, it seems to be a very odd, it would be an odd choice to say inhabit an inanimate object. But I would
unless it was
say
a
that
doll that could pee.
yes, oh boy. Oh, could you imagine if you were haunting an object, you go, oh boy, I'm inside of a doll that could pee. Oh boy, whoa, why?
That one human
Wouldn't you want
characteristic that
something
makes us
better?
so flawed. All right. Well, we have Jan in our
Okay.
room, and we have Sandy. And Sandy's always interesting. She has a lot of good things to say.
Yeah.
I am looking at our video, and hold on, I've got to turn off the sound here. And don't see anybody there.
I don't see
I'm not
anybody
sure.
here either.
I'm
There's
sad that
nobody
that's not
here.
happening like it used to, but maybe
I
we're
would
not
think, I
appropriately
would think,
marketing it.
yeah.
So, looking at our room and looking at what we have with Jan, and let's take Sandy. Sandy, we can go for about 6 minutes there. And how are you doing, sweetheart?
Oh gosh,
There's
six
Sandy.
minutes. 6 minutes is so short. It's too hard. I wanted to say hello to both of you and wish you both the best through this pandemic.
Oh,
Through this
thank you.
damn
You
pandemic.
too.
Hey, you look at. I do have one thing I want to tell you. When you have that face mask and you're going to reuse it, what you want to do is either take silver, peroxide. Geez, you can take. If you needed to, you can even take whiskey if that's all you had left in the house to
Yeah, you could
sterilize
spray
with.
some
And you can
peroxide.
put
We
it
have
in a
some
little
Yeah.
some.
spray
There's
bottle.
ways
Yeah,
of
put in a
keeping them and disinfecting them.
yeah.
And
But what you
actually,
want to what?
if you
No,
let it
listen.
sit, if you
Wait,
just
wait,
let
wait,
things
wait.
sit for a while, before handling them again, that helps a lot,
No,
right?
what you want to.
I think.
Okay, what you want to do. Wait. What I'm saying is put some of that stuff in a little spray bottle, even like a little nose spray bottle, whatever you have. You
Yeah.
spray the inside and the outside of the mask before and after using. And it
Very
really
good.
helps to
That's a
kill
very good
any
idea.
bacteria that's on
I'll
the
remind
mask.
them of all that because there's certain people that go out around here and certain people that I haven't been going out lately. But no, I'll let them know that that's important,
Oh,
and
yeah, you
because
can
it's a
You
good
know,
use
idea. Even like to
peroxide.
keep it in the car. Even like if when you're done using it, you're not going to be using it for a while. Then when you're done, you spray it and then just let it sit, and then it'll be dry by the next time you use it. And That's a very good idea. To
I
carry
have
Now,
that
become
another
around.
thing
so
that you could...
I have become so
Okay.
anal retentive about. I hate that word. That sounds like clenching one's butt.
Yeah, but you
But
really have to
anal,
be. It's sort of like you really have to be. If you want to avoid it, it seems like because the illness seems to vary in so many different people, from mild to fatal. And the thing is, the thing is, it spreads so much in such a short time. We really have to we have to be anal about it. This seems like the only way we're going to get through it is to just be really as careful as you could be.
we
You
have
know,
And
wipes.
avoid,
We have wipes. We
and
have
avoid,
sterilizer. We have
oh
sprays
yeah.
inside our
yeah.
car. I mean, we are just. And
But
even
I
when I
think
go
that
to
one
the
of the worst
store,
things, yeah, and one of the worst things is fear. And we're
We
we're
have our
we're we're, we're
Clorox
plaguing
wipes
ourselves
too.
with so much fear.
Hmm.
If fear lowers your immune system, it's not good for your cells. We have to
mm,
stop being afraid. I spent
And you
3 years
notice
when
how
I met you.
invasive it is on every level, how it is a virus on every level, not only your health, but also on your psyche. It
your
occupies
soul.
a large part of our
Yes.
thoughts, and I'm sure we dream about it. It has just gotten into every part of our lives. And so it's like that
Well,
is
it's
just insidious. And plus what it's done to the economy, what it's done to
Mm,
everybody, just knocked everybody down on different levels,
mhm.
not just the obvious health and fatalities, but
Right.
just insidious. Just how it is in everything right now, whether it's
Mm.
actually there or not. It's there in our thoughts. It has just invaded us.
But it has to
Psychic.
be. It has to
Yeah.
be at this time. It has to
Yeah.
be.
Hmm.
We
don't
don't
you
have to
think also
fear it.
that don't you think also, though, that we might have also had attracted such thing? Everybody was running around with their heads chopped off. Everybody was so by this,
Right.
by that, and nobody was connecting with the kids. Everybody was working so much trying to keep the kids have their phones and everything else. It
Right.
seems
Right.
as though suddenly people are getting on the YouTube, famous people say, wow, I finally read a book. Wow, I'm finally
Yeah.
able to spend some
Right.
time with
Isn't
Right.
my
that
wife.
something? And look at the condition of our
We're
planet, how it improved with everybody just not being out and about. Pollution levels are lower. We could
Yes.
see,
Pollution
crime
levels.
oh
rate is
my
low.
goodness.
Crime rate.
Crime
Right.
rate. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
they don't want
Well,
to
and
come up and
family.
maybe
beat anybody
after
up and
this,
steal anything
we need
anymore.
to impose a national law where it is that a certain day of the week where it is quarantine for one day of the week,
For
once a week,
pollution.
where nobody, well, make it some law where you have to have a quarantine day, where it is everybody, like say Mondays will be now part of the weekend, and Mondays will be quarantine day. So we'll have 3-day
I think what
weekends. Mondays would
I
be
think what we
quarantine
really
day.
Yeah, but
Mm.
Joseph, what would really be useful, if you wanted to know what would be really useful, is if we can organize and get everyone on one page, one day, one time around the world where people put their heart and their belief and soul into the idea that we are all individually able to be strong enough to wipe this out and send love and healing energy out to everyone. Let our hearts just blast it out to everywhere. The scientists have measured the vibrations that we can send out from our heart center, which is another brain all on its own. We've got 3 brains: gut, heart, and the one in your head. And when they always show Jesus, they always show his heart and this light blasting out from his heart. And what did he say? We could do what he could do, and we could do even more. So if we could all just believe in that and just know I could send healing energy out. What happens when people get together in church and they pray for somebody who's sick? We hear about these miraculous healings. I knew a lady who was on her deathbed given the rights, and people were praying so hard, and she is alive today and walking. It's amazing what prayer can do. What happens if all of us, all around the world,
the combined thought
we don't have to make
together.
it religious. We don't have to use the word prayer.
No, we can
what
meditate.
We have to use
We can pray.
is the
We can
meditation
even
word.
just hold
get
it in our
out.
heart.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
there's a lot we can do when all of our minds are in sync together and have a common.
But what have we been doing? We've been getting in sync with fear. We haven't been doing that.
It's amazing what can be done.
Yeah.
We have
but we have to stop being united in
going
fear.
to petition God. That would be the way to do it. You do it as, because it is a lot of energy. And combined people, that is because there is the thought that together we are really one anyway, and that we really are one. We just all live in different bodies.
We're like a beehive in chaos.
Yeah, we need to connect.
Look at Edgar Casey. If you ever read anything about Edgar Casey, now you read about Edgar Casey and his belief about Atlantis.
Yeah.
And now, isn't Edgar Casey just such a guy? Oh, he was a right. Did you know his father could track snakes? His father would be standing there, and all of a sudden these really deadly snakes would curl up at his feet. It would drive his father crazy. He used to spend time with his grandfather after his grandfather died up in the rafters in their barn, it said, and he would know all kinds of things about the family. Yeah, but at any rate, this guy was let's all admit it, he was you cannot explain what he did and what he said. And he said how a lot of people who died in Atlantis reincarnated. Now, just think of that. All these people lived on this it wasn't even an island, it was a continent, and the continent got sucked down. Now, we all know this actually did happen. They claimed to have found parts of Atlantis. So these souls actually sucked down. They were gone. Now this man is saying now they reincarnated as a group. What was it, in the 20th century they all did it? That's why so many people were so greedy. That's when greed got real big. He said the people of Atlantis were very self-serving. They looked at other people that weren't Atlanteans as beneath them and that sort of thing. And so that's how they came back to do the same thing. Is that not interesting when you think about
I think it's fascinating. Reincarnation was always really interesting to me, and also Edgar Casey.
We aren't going to die. Even if you die, your soul goes on.
Isn't it? I'm saying that right, aren't I? Yeah.
Okay, guys, we have Russ from Ohio, and I want to be sure to get Russ here.
I've been reading all that because a long time ago when I first discovered I had an interest in the metaphysical and the paranormal, there weren't a whole lot of things to find out there when you're a kid. And when at say your local library, you had to find out for yourself who were the ones who were doing the research. And Edgar Casey was one, and there was another, Hans Holzer, which people always said was sort of a hack, but actually I read a few of his few books based on some of his investigations, and I thought it was really cool. And one of the best novels I read about reincarnation was one based upon. It was one about when Taylor Caldwell, the famous author, she had experienced a series of regressions to remember past lives, because somebody felt that her knowledge and her novels, they're always so historically correct and so accurate, as though she had been really there and had been all these people. They kind of wondered, well, maybe she really was. And so that was the whole subject of the reincarnation attempt to regress her to remember through hypnosis. And so the book was written by Jess Stern, and it's called A Search for a Soul. and it was really an interesting book. If you ever have a chance to read it, it's really fascinating, and that's what really got me hooked on finding out more and more and more about reincarnation, because it seemed to make perfect sense to me, that it
Right.
would happen that way. Because how do you gain enough knowledge in one life? I mean, what would be the point of having, say, a very short life, unless it was supposed to be a lesson? And what good is a
Well,
And it
lesson
would make
if that's
sense.
it? If that's
And
it,
it would make sense.
I always
And
felt
it would make sense that we.
it seems
It
more
would make sense that we
logical.
would. Mhm. It would make sense that we would not remember each lifetime, because if you
Well,
did,
it would.
you would
It
want to
would.
go
It would.
back to
That
that
would.
lifetime, and you wouldn't move forward. You would keep
Well,
going
though
back to the same family, the same area.
we are influenced
you
by what
you
happened
know
to
one of
Now,
the
us,
the
things
interesting thing
and it could
The
have.
one of
interesting
the
thing is that with transplants, they found that the people get, say, a transplant from someone else, and they can actually have memory of the person they got the transplant from, and they knew nothing about that person prior to. So you have to remember, your cells themselves have memory, which would tell you that some of your DNA from grandparents and
Oh yeah, the
such
blood.
may
Yes, it's in the
also
blood.
have memory. There's a lot in play that we don't know about.
This is true. This is
guys, we
true.
just
That's why I
lost
find it
Russ.
so
We just lost
interesting. That's
Russ.
why I never claim to
Um,
be an expert, because there's so much that we could look at. But I just love hearing about it, and I love just things about, because it's just more and more, and I love it, because I think that there is something to it, and it makes perfect sense to me.
okay, guys.
I'm very sorry, Anne Marie. I know we went way over what you wanted to. Please
Oh,
forgive
Well, no,
me.
we
It's
lost a
always
client.
that's
so
We lost
okay.
somebody named
That's
Russ.
okay,
So
because
I've
this
been
is
trying to get
a
you guys to be quiet for a minute here.
It's just that we don't
So
often get to have discussions about the
I know it.
paranormal
I
on this
know it.
particular
I
show like
just
this with callers. We don't always have a chance to do that, which is nice to do
I
that
get it. Yeah.
sometimes.
Sandy is very interesting. Well,
Hmm.
you guys go on because we lost Russ. So go ahead.
Oh, well, Russ?
Then I also have a question. I have a question for you. Now,
Okay.
you are sitting at a position in life where people are calling and looking to you for guidance. And at this time, you must get a lot of people that are calling you and very bluntly saying, am I going to live? Am I going to be around? You have a responsibility suddenly thrust upon you to give this life-changing information for them on the placebo effect. You never want to say, oh, no, I don't see much of a future. So
Well,
you
actually,
really,
It's
what I
against the
how do
always
you
law,
guys
tell
Sandy.
what I
handle it?
It's
always tell
against the law.
How do
people,
you
It's
and
handle
it's
against the
it?
law
important to
to
have
give
a
No,
that.
I mean,
policy like this, is that it would be irresponsible for me. I think it's irresponsible for anyone to tell people when they're going to, if they're going to
oh,
live, if
no,
they're
I
going
meant,
to die.
how
That
do
is not
you
something that a
personally,
person wants to
emotionally
stamp onto
handle that?
anybody's psyche about, because
Hmm.
they're, like as I said, for a human to make that determination, and I don't care how good they are with being psychic, I just don't think that that is something that they should even that they should even attempt to answer for a person, because that could make that could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have no idea how hearing that kind of information coming from somebody that you might have a high regard for, and they could very well be wrong. And in fact, just by them, it's just, there's so much destruction that could be done by that sort of remark, that's why it is usually a policy of most reputable people in this sort of business to never answer those kinds of
I
questions.
will say, I'm going to break in here, guys. Give me a break
Yeah.
here, okay? I will say that in my readings, which are all day long, only one person has ever asked me, when am I going to die? Do you know what
Yeah.
women are asking about? When
Their
am I going to
children?
find
I
love?
remember seeing somebody ask that back a long time ago, when I was in a chat room on AOL, and some mean person told this younger person that they were going to die very soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. But what
And
I'm saying is,
I glad I heard it because I told them off and I said, look, I'll do you a reading because I said, you can't believe, and you can't believe people like that. I says, you can't. I said,
no.
it is just something that is just something that is just an evil thing to do to somebody. Because, like I said, that does leave a stamp on a person. It really does. Even if they try not to think about it, that's always going to be there. You never do that. And besides that, there are things that we have no control over. And there are some things that in my own case, I'm just simply not allowed to see certain things.
Well,
That's
and
just
and
it,
and I'm gonna
you know.
break in here again. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is that in all my readings, every single day, only once have I had someone saying, "Am I going to get corona?" Do you know what the most popular question from most women is? Da-da! Am I going to find love?
Yes, isn't
It's
that
not
something?
about
It
when am I
usually
going to
is
die.
about.
It's
It
not
usually
about
is
the
about
corona.
the
It's
person.
about, is
It's
the son
about
of a
usually it's
bitch that
about
I'm
somebody
having an affair
else.
with that's married going to come back to
Yeah.
me? It's all about selfish questions based
Well, and
on
then it's
love.
also about what I noticed. It's about economics. It's about jobs. It's a
Yes,
concern
jobs and
about
economics are a big
security.
one.
It's fear, and it's about love, and it's about loneliness. People tend to still ask these particular questions, and actually, I'm glad because
Well,
it is very rare. Like Anne Marie said, it's very rare that somebody would ask, and I'm really. But I have seen websites that will actually advertise, will tell you, will calculate that for you.
Oh
It's just like, oh my
yes,
goodness,
Yahoo
no! Why would
was.
anybody want to do this?
Really? How
I think some
stupid.
people do have a fascination for it, but I think once they get an answer, no matter how bogus it is, it's always going to be disturbing to them, really, and they don't realize it
now
at the
what
time
the
until it happens. And then they're going to find it
do,
disturbing always. So
do
that's why I
you
don't like
remember?
that. Yeah.
Do you remember, Joseph? You told me I had a reading, and you said that somebody was going to come over, and don't get upset. They're going to yell at you, and don't get
Right.
upset. It's going to roll off your. Well, lo and behold, within a week, my neighbor came over and he blew up at my face. It was something that had nothing to do with me, and I remembered it, and I just laughed through it because I realized it had nothing to do with me. It had to do, and I believe I did call you and let you know about that. The point
That's
is,
funny.
it's amazing that you actually that you pick up, that both of you pick up, that both of you can see. Doesn't that indicate that there would be a predestined
Um,
um, uh, set up all? It's in front of us. Isn't
Well,
it
it's
seems
funny
as
you should say
though?
that because I was just
Hmm,
thinking about that right before you said it. Was that I was thinking, should I mention the fact that I think that it isn't so much that everything has predestiny, but the setup has predestiny. We don't. We're the
mhm.
percentage that has the free will. But yes, there are set pieces set up, and they're going to happen whether we're there or not. Just like, say, the airplane that crashes at 3 a.m. on a country is normally empty. Okay. Now it just so happened, okay, that's going to happen. That's going to happen because whatever has caused that plane to be up there, yeah, okay. Now we find out about the guy who was asked by his wife at 3 a.m. to go to the drugstore and pick up her prescription because she needed it now. And so he's out on that country road, and guess what happens? This airplane
Thinking, you
crashes into him.
stupid bitch.
Well, you go, now, what are the odds of that happening? Well, you see, now that was going to happen whether he was there or not. Okay, you see, you have to
Right.
understand that. Now, that's the part that I believe is the 80%. When they say it's 80%, you don't have any control over, but you have the 20%, or or something
So
like
there
you
is
have
that element
80%,
of
but
accident.
you have to deal with the thing with the setups that are there. And of course, how you deal with it is changes it, and things that prevent you from getting there. changes it. Now that's the
Hey,
weird
Russ
part of
is
the
back.
game.
Russ is back.
Because what
Russ is
caused
back.
that airplane to be
We better
overhead
get
at
off.
that time?
You guys, Russ is back. Okay, guys. Hi, Russ. How are
Hey,
you?
love to both of you. Stay healthy.
You
We'll
too.
talk again another time. It was so great fun. And I'm sorry, Russ.
All right.
So sorry I took so much time.
That's
Okay, have a
all right.
great one.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks.
Maybe we'll hear back from Russ. Maybe we could give him a one card
Russ is
pull
here.
up.
Russ is here. Russ
Hello,
is here,
everybody.
Joseph.
Oh, hi, Russ.
Hey, Russ. How are you?
Hello there.
Hi there.
Yeah, another exciting day. I just had to make a quick trip into a store for an essential. So
Oh,
I
Yeah.
ran
good.
in before it closed here at 7
Glad
o'clock, so that was fun. And then a lady told me off while I was standing in line that I got too close.
I'll tell you, going to the grocery
Really?
store has become the highlight of my week.
Yeah,
It's the highlight of my
I got
social life.
within 4 feet
Yeah.
instead of 6 feet of this lady, so.
Yeah. Okay, well, what's up, Russ?
Just calling about this new job I got. Got a little bit of case of the worries here, too, because it seems like some of the stuff, this is my 5th week in the job, and I've got, it seems like I'm catching on to some things, but not quick enough to some of the other things, and I'm not sure if I'm worrying myself to death again about it or not, but...
Well, I'm seeing here with the Ace of Swords, that's an indication that it shows you like your mind is racing because you're pretty nervous about it. And it looks like you've got your distractions. And I see that, let's see. Actually, this card also recommends that it'll be better if you kind of like simplify things that aren't related to it. You know, like if you have the new job, maybe there's some things in your home life or social life that you need to simplify so that you could focus a little better and be more relaxed with this. So apparently things are complicated elsewhere. Maybe you could reduce some stress that has nothing to do with the job. You know, it just kind of like streamline things a little bit. I am seeing though that simplify but don't take shortcuts because you don't want to cheat anybody with a shortcut because I'm seeing that that's not going to work out. You don't cut corners because that'll have a negative effect. So don't if you know there's some people actually you can't cut out or you can't reduce the time because they really do need that. But I am seeing that if you try to simplify things in your personal life, and that will cut down on the stress, and you'll have better concentration at work. And it will clear up. You just have to be used to it. You're still new. I am seeing in the near future we have the King of Cups, and I do see that this is somebody who is very, very responsible, balanced. This is probably like a boss or a supervisor. He has that quality, almost fatherly. This is somebody who is. I'm seeing that he's got some authority and he shows a lot of understanding. I'm seeing that the job's going to work out because you have a good supervisor or a good boss, or you're going to have like a different one. If you don't like the one you got, I see that you're going to have one, and I do see that this is going to make things easier. You'll have a more supportive and understanding boss. Okay, because a lot of times they will tell. Sometimes the best thing that they can tell you in training is, we know you're going to forget a lot of this." And
Yeah.
sometimes to reassure you, it's like this is going to be something that you're going to remember over time. And I do see that this guy's understanding. I do see that once you simplify things on the home front, you'll be able to do better here. So that's what I see there. And you got a good boss.
Yeah,
You'll
because
have
that's
one
one of
soon.
the...
Yeah. Yeah? Does
Yeah,
it
because that's
help?
one of the things. They do seem to be sort of understanding, but it's kind of tough working from home because the first day I got in last month, they're like,
Yeah.
we decided the day before everybody's got to work from home, so I had to pack up a couple of monitors and a hard drive and take it all
Yeah.
home, and
Yeah.
it's been kind of tough, because the lady
Well,
I've
a
been
lot of
training with for the
times,
last 3 weeks
yeah,
or
he
so.
seems to be the kind of person that if there's something that happens like that, where everything's abrupt like that, that's something beyond his control. He's just trying to deal with it, too. It's just, that's what he's got to do. he had no choice. But he's an understanding sort. I do see that you'll adapt. I do see it will take some adapting, but I see it working out. Just try to simplify things at home. So things that distract you from your job are things that should be simplified. That's what it is. That's what the message is. There we go. What do you say, Anne
Okay.
Marie?
According to your reading, Russ, the most important thing for you to realize is that you're a very emotionally intense guy, which means that you tend to either be very, very sensitive or you tend to shut things out. But there's not a lot of medium for you. So your reading is saying, watch out for your oversensitive nature. Now, I understand that when you're starting out in a new job, you have to be sensitive. But what your reading is saying is this is boundaries and it's upside down, which means lack of boundaries. And that just means that right now you're all over the place. Your emotions are heightened. You realize the importance of having this job. And it says, understand, you're a great communicator. So continue to have faith in your communication skills. I do not see, I think May, you are going to be smooth, smooth. So watch out for your oversensitivity, that it does not cause you to be dysfunctional. Play it cool, relax, and understand that May is a time where I don't see you're going to have to search for a new job, and the anxiety pretty much is over by June. So that's what I see.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
that's
funny
always
how
good
we
news.
both pulled
Yeah,
up
I
the
do kind of
swords.
overthink things sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what the problem is about being at home a lot. We get in our heads a lot, and there's nothing to really take the emphasis away from ourselves when we're so much alone with ourselves. So what your reading is saying is just remember you're an intensely sensitive person. Relax.
Well, one of my roommates works from home, and it is a place that he used to have to go in 3 days a week. But lucky for him, his job had become work at home over time. And he does have a system set up. He does have it scheduled to go. He puts in an 8-hour day. He is treated at home. We treat him as if he's at work, so we don't bother him, and we also don't. We answer the door. We take care of the phone. We just simply make sure that he's allowed to do his job, and so his
Very
office.
nice.
So
Very
I mean, so
nice.
you have to set this up for yourself. You say, now I'm at work. I have to treat this workspace the same way. I have to give it the
And
same attention. Yeah.
that is the hardest part about
It is
working from
hard
home
because people see you at
because
home and they go,
people do
"Oh, can I?"
not
It's like if I was at work, would you come running into my office like this? You can't.
Oh, it's
Right,
like every animal wants to go on a walk. Your cats
right.
want to be fed.
And
Your
you're in a
your fence,
meeting. And you're
yeah,
in a meeting, but yeah, right. And it's like
and the
you have to shut
kids,
the door. Yeah.
yeah, and the kids want your attention. So
Right.
the hardest part about working from home is to realize the dynamics about working from home. If you're not used to that, it's very difficult for people to realize that just because you're at home, you're not to their disposal.
Right.
You
Right.
have to feel free that you can shut that door and say, stay away. But a lot of
Yeah.
people at home don't. Well, we got to go. Joseph,
Oh,
love
look at
you. Take
that.
care.
Okay. We'll see
All
you.
right.
See you
Yeah.
next month.
Bye bye.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks,
Everybody stay
Russ.
well. Bye-bye.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twitter.